Good afternoon, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know. And this is going to be a shitty video, and you'll know what that means here in a moment. You hear a lot of people talk about the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, where toilet paper had not yet been invented. And it is with the foregone expectation that you are in agreement that it was a bad time because of that, right? Well, I don't want to get nasty with this video, but I will say there's something left out, and it's symbolic of a bigger problem that I'll get into in just a moment. Something left out being the possibility that there was something different, and something maybe even better, actually. I want to talk about that briefly. So, what did people do before the advent of toilet paper? And why do people assume, more importantly, that it was worse, whatever came before? Well, let's think about the idea for a second. So toilet paper emerged when somebody invented it, mass-produced the idea. They invented the machinery and the process of making it affordable enough and cheap enough to manufacture that people could use it disposably. Disposably is the key word here. And it's very much a part of our disposable consumer culture, where everything is single serving, if possible, for the convenience of it usually, and the cost effectiveness when you don't want to have to stockpile a whole bunch of it, or it's overly expensive to create a permanent solution. And in the case of toilet paper, what would a permanent solution be? Well, you got to think that people didn't just walk around with, nasty butts. They actually probably had a solution, I would think. But you don't hear about it, and this is my point. My point is you don't hear about it. You're told that there was a time before, and it must have been just awful. Okay, well, I beg to differ. Okay, people, granted, they weren't too informed back then. They didn't have the manufacturing wherewithal to create and distribute all of our modern conveniences. No, they did not. However, I'm quite sure that they didn't just want to walk around with a stinky rear end. So, not to be too gross, but I'm sure they had something better, actually. Come to think of it, they had a system where they would involve some laundry, they would involve some, towels probably, something similar to that, that was a permanent or sustainable solution that didn't involve filling up the sewer or the landfill with human waste, or extra waste, I should say, and was completely recyclable, immediately recyclable, renewable instantaneously at the nearest, creek or river or lake or whatever. And while it probably wasn't perfect, is toilet paper perfect? My problem here with this whole story, honestly, is that we assume every single time that our way is the best way, that this is the height of civilization. It can't get any better, because if it could, then we would be admitting or confessing some kind of shortcoming ourselves. It's funny to me and a little bit sad that every single generation thinks that they are the epitome of technological advancement. Most people do think this. Now, there's a few scientists who recognize the pattern and the graphs of development where they say, well, no, we can't possibly be, because we're just, a spot on a curve, or a dot on this exponentially growing curve of technology that is approaching, well, if you want to get into it, the singularity, where technology converges and many strange things start to happen. But I digress. I'm talking about toilet paper, and I'm talking about mostly the expectation that before our way, it must have been worse, that things only get better. What if that's just not true? What if this is all just the product of some sales pitch that we've all just been receiving and believing because it's the only way at the store? You're not going to buy permanent toilet wipes at the store because it would infringe on the profits of the toilet paper manufacturers, which our society has embraced, which our culture has embraced as part of this major, massive, disposable consumer landscape that we have. You buy single-serving stuff. You buy disposable shoes. You buy disposable, everything. All of your gear, all of your apparel, all of your, containers. I mean, sure, okay, so you buy some fancy flatware or plates or bowls, and you're expected to keep them for a while. If you have fine china, that's not expected to wear out very quickly. But besides that stuff, I don't want to be, when I was a boy, things were built better, but it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. And if you live to be my age, 49 years old at this time, you will know what I mean, that things are not getting better necessarily. And speaking from personal experience, One last point I will make on this subject. I worked in the automotive retail industry for quite some time. For quite a few years, I worked in the service side of it and the sales side of it. I enjoyed success. I actually enjoyed the work too quite a bit. And I observed something very interesting and on point. That is, cars are made, even the best cars, like consumer average grade cars. I'm not talking about rare exceptions that are, custom made to live for a long time, but even those have something called planned obsolescence nowadays. That planned obsolescence. What is planned obsolescence? Well, manufacturers, including and especially vehicle manufacturers, have figured out that it's more cost effective to have things wear out quickly. There's a balance between having them wear out too quickly where people become disenchanted with the product versus having it last so long that they don't come back, right? You want to keep your showroom full of people. What's the best way to do that? You have bills to pay, right? So you can't afford not to. If your cars last longer than the competitors, this is the flip side of competition, economic competition. If your vehicles or products last longer than the competitors, who does the consumer go back to first? Hey, competition is a double-edged sword, and at the end of the day, it's actually not that helpful because it's not even competition that keeps prices low. It's the choice that consumers have, which is connected to competition, but it's actually just the choice. You take the choice away from the consumer, competition is irrelevant. It makes no difference in terms of improving quality and keeping prices low, which is what we're told that it does. It's all about choice, actually. So anyway, I digress. Last thing I'll say about toilet paper. Don't believe everything you hear. I've learned from painful experience to question everything I hear because of stuff like this, where they say, oh, in the days before toilet paper, which conjures an image, doesn't it? It's a disgusting image, and it works because you don't have experience or knowledge about that period of time. But to assume that there wasn't something fine or even superior, that's a big assumption. That's a big assumption. And I will take that bet in this case. I will absolutely take that bet. They had something, and it worked fine. Reach out if you like with questions down below. Thank you.